Back at the lodge, Woozy was furious with the others for putting her in danger by making her go out into the storm, and he even threw wine in their faces, threatening to kick them out. In the cabin, Chance was still freezing because her clothes were wet. Dao Ming, realizing this could worsen her condition, took off his own clothes and asked her to do the same. He turned away to give her some privacy, then wrapped her in a blanket with him just to keep her warm. Although she was hesitant, she knew he wasn't thinking anything inappropriate. He just wanted to keep her from freezing. The next day, the rescue team found them and joked. Dao Ming carried her back to the lodge, confronted the troublemakers, and declared it was time for some consequences. He wanted to throw them out, but they begged Chance for forgiveness, saying they had nowhere else to go. She allowed them to stay if they helped clean the house. Later, when they were resting, Dao Ming's friends teased him about how they had spent the night in the cabin, hinting that it must have been like a romantic movie. Shaman and Mizu couldn't resist making jokes, with Mizu saying, "Hold me in your arms, my love." Dao Ming blushed and hurried off, only to be teased again for going to the wrong side of the bathroom. That night, they were celebrating New Year's, and Dao Ming finally got a moment alone with her. He hinted that he wanted her to tell him something, but she, being clueless, thought he was asking for the remaining $500,000 she owed him. Frustrated, he told her to just keep living in her bubble. When the fireworks went off, he confessed his feelings. Even though she didn't really hear him, it felt good to finally get it off his chest. One day, they had a reunion with their high school friends, where she ran into Jiabao, who had a crush on her back then. He complimented her, saying she looked even more beautiful now. Dao Ming was initially unaware, but Shiman pointed out that Chance and Sherry were at a party with their friends and had even posted a photo. Dao Ming showed up at the party uninvited, not letting her breathe for a moment. During a drinking game, Jiabao noticed she was uncomfortable and was about to take her drink for her, playing this chivalrous act. However, Dao Ming stepped in, took the drink from her and said, "Why would you drink something so disgusting?" Jiabao, surprised, asked him who he was, and Dao Ming replied, "I'm her boyfriend. Do you have a problem?" Chance quickly clarified that he wasn't her boyfriend, and Jiabao, putting an arm around her, told Dao Ming he should back off if he was bothering her. Dao Ming brushed Jiabao's arm off and pulled her aside to talk. However, when he started insulting her friends, calling them annoying, she told him to watch his words and not disrespect them. Even Jiabao stood up for her, saying, "If we're that annoying, maybe you should leave." Dao Ming lashed out and ended up getting into a fight, eventually landing in the hospital. Chance was furious, slapped him, and told him he'd crossed the line. She said if he thought her friends were annoying, then he must see her the same way. She had a point. His friends scolded him too, telling him he needed to apologize to her since he had overreacted. The next time he saw her, she was talking to Shiman, and he instructed Shiman to apologize to her as soon as she approached. Dao Ming called out to her, but she ignored him, clearly not planning to forgive him so easily. Later, in the library, she struggled to reach a book on a high shelf. But just then, she saw Jiabao's younger brother, Shan Bing, and was delighted to run into him. Shan Bing told her he hadn't seen her in ages, not since she used to deliver food to their house. He always liked seeing her around until he heard Dao Ming talking about her, mocking her as dumb, and saying he could never fall for someone like her. Shan Bing couldn't hold back and called Dao Ming an idiot. She quickly pulled Shan away before a fight could break out. Later, they were eating together when Dao Ming walked by. Shan decided to annoy him by chatting with her more intensely, reassuring her she didn't need to worry about Dao Ming as he'd protect her. Just then, Dao Ming came over and said, "Oh, so you're hanging around with a guy like this now?" She snapped, telling him once again to stay out of her life. Shan, still angry, said, "She's my girlfriend. Why do you care?" Dao Ming grabbed Shan by his shirt, and they almost fought, but she intervened to stop them. As they were leaving, Dao Ming told her he'd never stop loving her, no matter how much she pushed him away. Shan just laughed and said, "He's crazy. You should ignore him." One day, she was out with Shan Bing, who advised her to stay away from Dao Ming, saying his behavior was out of line. Although she knew he was overprotective sometimes, she believed Dao Ming had a good heart. Shan went to get her a drink, but while he was away, some men approached her. When he returned, she was gone. Xiao and Dao Ming's friends noticed her absence and informed him that she was missing. She had been kidnapped, and they sent Dao Ming a photo showing her tied up and beaten. Shan Bing recognized the gang and asked to speak with them alone. It turned out he had connections with them, but the gang leader had an old grudge against Dao Ming because he once broke his leg. They wanted revenge, but assured her they wouldn't harm her. They only wanted Dao Ming to suffer. The gang leader sent Dao Ming the photo, threatening that they would deal with her if he didn't come. Although she doubted he'd come since they weren't in a relationship, Dao Ming showed up, ordering them to stay away from her. They beat him badly until the police arrived. When she woke up in the hospital, Wuzi was sitting silently nearby. When she entered the room, they told her Dao Ming had died. She broke down crying, regretting everything that had happened. Then Dao Ming suddenly laughed, saying, "Who visits a patient without bringing some fruit?" Furious, she jumped on him, wanting to strangle him for scaring her like that. His friends laughed and left them to argue alone. When she calmed down, he teased her for just sitting there, stunned. She admitted she regretted what had happened to him and had even dreamed about him. He said, "Then come visit me every day." She retorted that she wasn't his personal nurse, but he laughed, saying he'd pay her a good salary if she came. Annoyed, she told him he was always thinking about money. One day, she was on the rooftop with Wuzi, who noticed her wound looked infected. He put a bandage on it for her. Just then, Dao Ming arrived, commenting on how cozy they looked. Wuzi stood up, saying, "I didn't tell her what you wanted me to. Tell her yourself." Leaving them alone, Dao Ming finally told her his birthday was coming up and that she needed to bring a gift and dress nicely because his mother would be at the party, and he wanted them to meet. On his birthday, his friends caught her and insisted on helping her find an outfit suitable for the occasion. After all, there would be politicians and business people there, as his mother would be looking to make some important connections. As the party began, people were giving him extremely expensive gifts. She started to feel out of place, like her own gift was worthless. She tried to avoid handing it over, but someone pulled her hand awkwardly, and it fell to the ground. His mother arrived just then, and Dao Ming helped her up, introducing her to his mother as the girl he loved. His mother was stunned and asked if he realized what he was saying. She couldn't believe he'd choose someone without a family background or connections. Wuzi quickly lied, saying her father was a company executive responsible for projects in North Africa and the UAE. Sensing the lie, Dao Ming's mother asked her to play the piano, assuming if she was truly wealthy, she'd know how to play. Nervous since she hadn't played in ages, she went to the piano and started playing. To everyone's surprise, she played beautifully. After finishing, she admitted that she wasn't from a wealthy family and that all she could offer was this simple song. His mother was offended by her audacity and wanted her to leave. Dao Ming, angered by his mother's reaction, decided to leave with her. He grabbed Shimon's car keys and walked off, even though his mother warned he'd regret it.